right, everybody, we are here once again because we could soon be seeing or another name storm, believe it or not, Tropical Storm Josephine, or at least Tropical Depression. Is it 10 or 11? But yeah, we may be seeing another storm. 2020 is not giving us a break in the Atlantic right now. But here's 95L, just designated 95L not too long ago, and it has now been putting at a medium chance of forming, which is up from a 20% chance all the way to a 40 to 50% chance of this developing. So the chances are going up definitely for this. And look at that. At first, it was very small. They were saying conditions could get unfavorable, but this is now has a chance of developing, and this could head towards areas that could affect land. This does remind me of Isaias. It kept forming a little bit more later, but then the cone kept extending out all the way into the Caribbean. So we'll see if it could do something like that, but we definitely have to keep an eye out on this. Here's what they have to say. Shower and thunderstorm associated with tropical wave located a few hundred miles southwest of blah, blah, blah. However, satellite wind data from earlier this morning indicate that the circulation remains elongated. So it's a little bit like Isaias. It was elongated, and the conditions appear to be conducive for the development of the system. And they're saying a tropical depression could form in the next few days, while it moves generally westwards in the next at 50 miles per hour. But then conditions are going to be becoming less conducive by the end of the week or later this week. So could this become a tropical storm Josephine? Possibly. Very, very possibly. And very quickly, I want to touch on that we do also have two areas in the Eastern Pacific, believe it or not, both also with a medium chance of forming as well as tropical storm Elida, which I'll have an update on that as it is forecast to become a hurricane. And we also have, I'm pretty sure, something we also have a 40% chance in the Central Pacific. But anyways, back here. So 95L, we have a lot of stuff going on. We have 91E, we have 07W, 076. Tropics are getting active like crazy. The Western Pacific is just completely blowing up right now. But anyways, right now, it looks like this, thankfully, could be a fish storm. Here's a GFS symbol. As you can see, it does, if it is going to form, it does look like this won't be something like Isaias. It does look like it would curve out to sea, which that's good news, of course. We want that. We want that to curve out to sea. We don't want this to come near us. Same thing with the CMC mantle, curving it nice out to sea. So it looks like it's going to be making a closer approach to the lower Antilles before kind of turning out to sea. Now, models right now, kind of split in half. We got two teams, I guess. The first team kind of intensifies it into a hurricane to tropical storm. Second team keeps it as a tropical depression or borderline tropical storm. That's the second team. So that's what we are going on. Two different teams, I guess you can say. For me, if I had to put my model, I think it's going to become a brief tropical storm before kind of dying down. So that's kind of mine. I do think it could become a 50 mile per hour tropical storm, but maybe that's it. But we're gonna have to see. Here's a look at the satellite imagery right now. It's not looking too bad. It looks to be getting a little bit better organized. It is still elongated. The convection is kind of dispersed. It looks like it's finding between, again, like you said, yes, two centers. We got the first one here, second area of convection. It's kind of fighting between the two. It looks like right now this area of this convection right here seems to be winning over the other ones, but we're going to have to see where it kind of is able to form its center as this continue. But right now it is still rather disorganized. Still a rather disorganized tropical system. But here's a look at the satellite imagery of the entire Atlantic wide. And, you're going to be able to see what we're watching right now. Couple areas. But right now, this is what is 95L here. This is what was 94L, I believe, over there. And this is just a big area of convection. So we're watching quite a little bit of areas. Tropical depression, or there's also a tropical wave here, a couple tropical waves here and then moving through the Atlantic Ocean into the Caribbean, as you can see here. So quite a lot of tropical waves here and there moving out, but, just normal activity as we get into the later day. So yeah, this is really what we've got going on right now. We're gonna have a look at the forecast models to see really do we have any models that show this developing further than just a tropical wave or a tropical depression. So first off, GFS model right off the bat, it does show it as a 1,010 millibar low pressure system. Which it is a low pressure system, so they are on board with that now. It looks like it will. The GFS does strengthen it as low as 1,000, as 990, 999. It looks like before weakening a little bit more. So it looks like potentially tropical storm as it moves a little bit like this in the next couple of days. Now, according to the GFS, it looks like potentially a tropical storm around here, in this general area before it kind of shoots up towards the north. So potentially, potentially we can't leave out the possibility for a tropical storm Josephine with this European model. Doesn't look to be too positive about it, and it does show it die out in the next 24 hours. So European model not on board, not on board at all. Now CMC seems to be a little bit more on board. It does have it strengthening a little bit even as it moves out to sea, and the CMC is a whole lot more on board with this system than the European model, even the GFS potentially. So let's look at the millibars. So as you can see, the GFS or the CMC, let's see here, it does go with at most at lowest 1,000, 9,000, 10,000. Let's see here. So it does go potentially with a tropical depression, potentially a tropical storm at most. As you can see, the highest wind right here, 46 knots. So maybe, just maybe, a 50, 45 mile per hour tropical storm before kind of heading. So, it looks like the area of opportunity for a tropical storm, if we look so far at all the models, it looks like it's going to be somewhere in this general area. So this is where we could potentially see a tropical storm, even extending it a little bit further out. But it looks like if there's going to be a tropical storm, it's going to be in just general area. But most likely, right around here, it looks like. Most likely. So it would be the next couple of days if we were going to see one, of course. NavJam, NavJam never is really on board with those systems, but NavJam, again, just kind of dissipates it out. So they're not on board with that either. Right now, National Hurricane Center went with 50%, and I think it's about accurate with the current situation right now. I would say that, 50% of the model do form it, the other 50 don't form it from what I'm currently seeing. So I think it's rather accurate where they're going with like 50% of the models forming it, because that's really what I'm seeing right now as well. Now, in terms of the ocean temperatures for the system, that's not going to be a problem. It's going to have, around 27, 28, 29 maybe at some point sea surface temperature. So those are not a problem whatsoever. Right here, as you can see, that we're technically now in a weak La Nina as it is below 0.4 index. So we'll see if that continues to drop or if that goes back up eventually. Now, I do want to go check out Mike's weather page just to see kind of the wind shear in the general area for the system to form out if it is going to form. And as you can see, the shear map, it is going to be experiencing some pretty low shear. Looks like maybe a little bit of 25, 30 knots in some areas, but it is going to be, it looks like, experiencing some, medium, some favorable to neutral shear here and there. So, it doesn't look like that's going to be too much of a problem. So, in terms of impact, really the area where it's most likely to impact at this point would most likely be the Upper Antilles, if it is going to impact anywhere, really. But right now, it looks like this could have minimal to no impacts. Thankfully, as we look on the GFS here, only a couple bring it towards the Caribbean, the U.S. But that can still change. And once again, it looks like the stronger it will be, the more east it will go, and the weaker will be the more west or southern it will go. So weaker, more impacts, I guess you could say. Stronger, less impact. So we'll see how that does develop.